Okay, so I have a question for you as the commissioner of this show match, Mr. Metals. The loser picks the map, correct? Two maps are going to be played twice in the event that it goes to 9 games. So, are the players already allowed to pick a map that's been played once, or do you have to wait till all the maps have been played to repick maps that have already been picked? I see. Okay, cool. Thanks for clearing that up. Well, GSL maps are also the same as ladder maps nowadays, but I know what you mean. It's gone are the days where there are tournaments with weird map pools, since WCS is kind of, sort of, there's a rule in WCS now that if your tournament is a WCS tier event, it has to use the ladder map pool. So nowadays, players are far less likely to be practicing things like Pro League maps and stuff like that, as you were mentioning before. So that's why we see a lot more of these sort of commonized map pools.
Sorry for the small issue with my mic there. Not quite sure what went wrong, but that means nothing was actually heard. None of the player introductions and stuff. So hopefully you all worked out where we were spawning. But yeah, as you mentioned, Penguin, this is of course the ladder map pool, and 2 maps will be replayed, but not consecutively. That also would have been missed out. So yeah, just waiting to see what these two are doing. We got a much earlier command center coming down from Bunny this game, playing it a lot more economically greedy.
Yeah, opting for the CC first on the low ground here, following up with racks then gas. So this is looking to be just a pretty standard follow-up to a CC first here for Bunny. He is really showing a nice little variation of builds. I don't think he's used the same build twice yet, which is pretty cool. It makes it a lot harder for him to be read by Nerchio as well. Nerchio just opting for just the standard hatchery into a spawning pool, no hatch gas pool, and once again, no 3-minute gas. So again, he doesn't really seem to like that 3-minute gas play.
Bunker coming down at the front, Bunny being obviously very safe after that CC first. Otherwise, that's got that gas trickling through. Nerchio, on the other hand, going gasless, so he's still keeping things looking nice and safe. Everything quite good. And, well, as this stands with the factory coming out, we've got a very standard game of StarCraft ZvT coming down.
That we do, and, well, this is nice. It gives us a chance to really see if Nerchio is going to play with the same Ling Mutavain style, or if he's going to do something else, rather than having the game ended very quickly by some kind of a cheese from one side or the other. Thus far, the gasless play, once again, is going to be not gasless, because he's adding on a gas here at 4 minutes 50. Kind of interesting. He did this in game number 1 on Overgrowth, and from there did opt to go into Ling Mutavainling. So that could still be what he has on the cards. Kind of just waiting to see what Nerchio is doing right now. Bunny looks like he's just playing incredibly standard, so I'm interested to see what Nerchio opts for, because he does still have a couple of options.
Starport is coming down, so this is a relatively early timing of that Starport. Could be going into some Banshee. We'll wait to see what else comes through. Obviously, factory just landing now. The barracks is going to move. If a tech lab's made, which it should be at this stage, probably going to be going into Cloak with the 2 gases already up. And this is all still looking fairly cool times now. There's that tech. Oh no, actually it's not. It's a reactor.
This is pretty cool. I think we could see Hellbat drops.
And that can be actually pretty damn scary now. Those Hellbat drops can hit a lot earlier because you don't need, obviously, transformation servos upgrade or anything like that. You can get out the Hellions first, just chuck on that armory, transform them, get them in. And that can be scary times for a ZerG player to deal with.
I like this. This is pretty cool. I think it was Teja who we saw doing Hellbat drops in DreamHack a little bit as well versus ZerG, and they're still pretty strong. You don't really expect to see Hellbats in your main base that early on, so this could be a little bit rough here for Nerchio if he doesn't see what's coming. He doesn't really have any Overlords in position to sack into the main. He has one slowly moving its way towards there, but there are Marines on patrol. And it's going to be a double drop here. There's going to be 2 into the main, 2 into the natural, or 4 into the main straight away. Either of which is pretty scary as a ZerG player to go up against.
Waiting now to see exactly when this drop comes through. There's that armory completing up. That's going to allow the Hellions to morph into Hellbats. Double medevac production on its way for Hellions weighing at the front to become those Hellbats. Couple of Hellbats coming out as well. Okay,
for Nerchio, he is opting to play the Roach style. He is going for the double upgrades for Roaches here. Roach Warren going to be completing as well. And presumably as soon as that's done, he will also opt to, or as soon as the layer is done, rather, he'll opt to put on that roach speed as well. And that means that he does have the tech to deal with Hellbats, but he doesn't actually have any roaches on the field yet. He's got 3 on the way. Here we go. Is it going to be 4 into the main, or is it going to be 2 and 2? That's the moment of truth. Looks like it could be all of them into the main. How much damage is Bunny going to get done here, Mattles?
Well, in he goes. Queens are in position. They're going to start chipping away at those medevacs, taking quite a big bit of a beating. One medevac will fall already. A queen is nearly going down. 2 Hellbats trying to chase some drones. A little bit of a bottleneck there, but no drones killed as of yet. This is not doing too much damage for the Team Liquid player. 0 workers killed, just a little bit of lost mining time in exchange for a medevac and 2 Hellbats. Not a good trade.
No, he didn't get everything, so Bunny can be kind of happy that he got out with some of the units, but not getting anything for that kind of an investment hurts a little bit. But we see 2 more full medevacs coming on out, and Bunny is going to be very relentless with this kind of a play. The problem is that he's looking to go into bio behind this, and his upgrades, or he's going to be 2 whole upgrades behind.
Interestingly, though, we see that obviously Nerchio is preparing for a roach-based strategy, getting that +1 missile attack down. So perhaps thinking that this is mech as opposed to anything else. So
I think it was just going to go roaches anyway, just because the map is not that conducive. Yeah, I was talking about that before the game as well. It's not that conducive to meatless play, so roaches are more common on this map than on others. And well, we do have the Hellbats trying to get a little bit of damage done here in the third. They're getting ready to be dropped, and there may not be enough roaches here to deal with this. 6 Hellbats being dropped, surrounding the roaches. A couple of workers getting caught in the crossfire as well. 9 worker kills already. There's not enough defense here to really deal with this.
No, there really wasn't, and this really now starts to hurt Nerchio. He's lost those 9 drones, as you said. A couple of the roaches getting quite low. Overcome the queens, though, and they're very effective up against Hellbats. Picking off a single one of the medevacs. A second medevac just gets away. Oh my goodness, that was close. But now the natural base going to be besieged by this fiery doom. And Bunny, he's certainly got Nerchio's drone count down a little way. Could do with a bit more, though.
Yeah, at this point, Nerchio is still sitting at a solid 57 drones, and he's getting his 2-2 upgrades. And the biggest issue here for Bunny is the upgrades. He's still down by an entire set of upgrades, and 13 more drones on the way. Nerchio is just going to replenish the ones he lost pretty quickly here. And from there, he's got Hydralisk almost complete, Roach Speed on the way. It's a very late Roach Speed, but it is on the way now. And I still think I like Nerchio's position a little bit more here just because of those upgrades more so than anything else. And I guess...
A few more drones are getting roasted, though, and this now takes the total count up to 18. That's a lot more substantial than it was before. It gives Bunny an equal worker count. He's also on 3 bases, the same as his Zerg opponent.
He's lost so many medevacs, so he doesn't have any medevacs on the field. He's got 2 about to finish, but that's also a big worry. He's lost, I think, 3 medevacs.
He's lost 4, and having said that, though, think back to game number 1. The same thing happened, and it didn't really bother Bunny that much. He lost a lot of medevacs, but...
That's true.
It's, again, something that can be a little bit of a frustration. For the time being, though, it looks like we're just getting a lot more bioouts and mines on their way through. But as you pointed out repeatedly, Penguin, the upgrade advantage for Nerchio is huge. He's got 2-2 nearly finished before 1-1 has even completed for Bunny.
I feel like Nerchio could go for a very, very strong 2-2 timing attack here in about 60 seconds. He's getting nothing but units right now. He's sitting on a good 70 drones. He's not getting up to a super high drone count that makes it look like he wants to play super macro-oriented. I feel like he does want to go for that 2-2 push, and Bunny burning a couple of scans, don't want to say wasted, because he did pick off the creep. He does see this coming his way. And with a couple of queens in the mix as well, a couple of transfuses could be on the cards here. Nerchio's not that far up in supply, but he's got Hydras that do a lot of damage. He's got some roaches to tank. And there's no tanks here. There's a couple of mines, but mines aren't as good against this composition if they don't get really good hits off. And with 2-2 finishing up, that's going to mean that the upgrade lead is as big as it's going to get.
Down goes that 4th command center, but it was cancelled, so only 100 minerals lost there. A couple of tanks coming out here as well now for Bunny. That's going to really help up against the roaches, and that's some cool times for him. Otherwise, this is still looking like quite a scary position for Bunny. There's so much Zerg running at his 3rd base, but the mines are in a good position. Overall, the army supplies are pretty similar, but it's the upgrades. That is what's going to really be helping Nerchio if he does choose to engage here.
I feel like he has to engage here. He can wait for a couple more units to come on up, a little bit more support, but he's making nothing but units here. He's not teching up, he's not getting a 4th base. This is pretty committed from him, and We do have Bunny coming on in from the south side, trying to overwhelm what is a perfectly split army from Nerchio here as far as half and half goes. More of the units are trying to take out a couple of the tanks and to the north, but looks like Nerchio's army is struggling to hold on the southern flank here from Bunny. But with some reinforcements coming in from the side, he is actually able to beat this back towards that CC.
That command center, of course, starting to run. Very, very scary. The tank counter, though, is also climbing. Up to 4 tanks in total. That's going to help against these roaches very nicely with the splash. Upgrade still 2-2 to 1-1.
He actually took the Widowmine hits. He was trying to outrange them a little bit, but that was painful on 2 very clumped groups of Hydras. And from here, Bunny's only down by about 10 supply. And going up against a Roach Hydra player, that's not that big of a deal with that many tanks in the back as well. From here, Nerchio's going to try to push forward, but the Roach is in the back. He has to reposition his army a little bit. There's nothing but Roaches in production. Bunny, he's in a really good spot here. I don't know if Nerchio can break this anymore. He's taking a 4th base.
The fact that all these Roaches are coming out despite the tanks, what are your thoughts on that, Penguin?
Well, he doesn't have any tech. Ideally, he'd like to get some Vipers out, but there's no Hive, there's no Infestation Pit to get Hive. He's very limited on his options, and the tank transition has been exactly what Bunny needed to hold on here.
Forward now comes some of those Roaches, some of those Hydralisks. But again, this is a scary force for Bunny. He may not have the upgrades, but 2-2 on its way, +1 mech attack. The Infestation Pit finally getting started up now for Nerchio. He wants to tech into those Vipers, wants to be able to abduct, wants to be able to Blinding Cloud, but it's going to be quite a while for that to come through. May even look to go for... well, again, would he go for some Swarm Hosts just to try and besiege Bunny up?
No, I don't think that would be the right call, but this is a really nice call here, trying to move on into the counterattack, into the natural base. Some of the tanks are out of position here and unsieged, but Nerchio is going to try to do the best he can. He's getting a decent engagement to start, but there's just so much here for Bunny. Bunny up in supply, reinforcements coming down from the base, and Nerchio has been warded off once again.
Not too much damage done in the natural base either. No workers really being killed by Nerchio. Sure, a couple of tanks died. 5 in total have died this game so far, but there's still 5 more on the field. A big resupply of more Roaches, more Hydras coming down for Nerchio, who once again is trying to find just a nice angle to engage. But good scans from Bunny, keeps tabs on everything that's coming down. And Bunny, the longer this game goes on, is getting in a much nicer position. He's about to level out those upgrades. Sure, the Hive's on its way.
Base.
Pardon?
He's even taking a 4th base.
That
this
is
rough.
That puts him on equal bases now with Nerchio. He's only just established his 4th. And again,
Nerchio's not even mining out of his 4th. That's the issue for him as well. He's trying to add in a couple of Infestors by the looks of it. Although he may actually be able to catch this base, which would be a really nice pickoff. There's a lot of Hydras there, but in comes the army of Bunny. It's in a bit of a bottleneck. This could be a decent engagement, but with so many tanks, he just can't engage that without Viper support.
The tanks are just the big damage dealers here. If they get sieged up and Nerchio's trying to engage, the splash just rips apart the Roaches and Hydras. Hive is nearly done though, and as you said, Penguin, that leads to Vipers. Some Vipers coming out will give him the option for some Blinding Clouds, for some Abducts if he wants to do it. But all in all, we're just waiting to see what Nerchio can do with this. He's going for a multi-prong attack, pushing in towards that new 4th. We'll find a couple of tanks unsieged as well as infantry without medevac support. So trading very cost effectively here. This was a nice play by Nerchio.
Yeah,
he's going to get a bit of damage.
This has been pretty good, but he's not going to be able to pick up a Planetary Fortress, which is unfortunate for him. Still, this trade to the southern side has been good, but there's not really an answer to this gigantic army that's moving its way onto this creep now, and he's not even going slowly. He's not waiting for the creep to recede. Bunny is just going, and GG is called. Bunny takes himself up to a 3-1 position.